I have been gone for a while, and for you that have been keeping up, hubby is doing good. He had 2 neck fusions and 2 discs replaced, and we are at 5.5 weeks, and he's doing rather well, though he still can't drive and he's still on short-term disability from work. He told me today, go do what you need to do. I'm good. So he is doing better each day. So I thank you for your prayers. Okay, let's jump into this. This is going to be a YouTube series on coloring brick. All right. I know quite a few of you, well, when we see a brick building, how do we go about doing that? So I have picked several colors from the Prismas. I'm going to read those to you. And if you have my conversion chart, you can look at whatever pencils you have and decide what might be best if you're wanting to follow along exact. I encourage you just to go with it though. Pick what colors you like. This brick is more or less a red brick, but it's not a in-your-face red. Does that make sense? It's going to have several other colors in with it. So, $10.95, that's black raspberry. $10.17, that is clay rose. That's these two. Then I pulled 1001 salmon pink. Then Crimson Lake, $9.25. Nectar, which is 10. I don't know why they do these in gold. Makes it hard to read them. Sorry. Okay, 1092 is Nectar. Then I went to the cool grays for the mortar between each brick, and I pulled the 20%, that is 1060. Then I pulled the 30%, is that 30 or 70? 70%. Okay, let's do them in order. So then the 50% is number 1063. And then that 70% is 1065. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to skip this row up here that's not a complete row, and let's just go ahead and start on a real brick. I'm going to take the 1092, which is this one. Let's move those out of the way and just go ahead and start. This is Greyscale. So that in itself is going to help you a lot in knowing where to put your colors. Okay, there will be a link to this over down in the comments. All right, so it'll be easy for you to find if you want to go purchase it. If you purchase my pages that are tutorials on how to do things, I would suggest, this is 1001, I would suggest that you do purchase, but then put them in a notebook so that you can look back later and see what you did, because that's the whole purpose of a tutorial, is to have a point of reference. So, and if you've bought my conversion charts, they should go in there. There's several different things that can go in there that I have in my Etsy. Let's go with 925. Is that you? Yep. And here's where we're going to do those darkest little spots that really make this brick have personality on its own. Now, right now, it looks kind of blocked in. All right, I've purposely done that. Now I'm going to go back to my lightest shade, which is the Nectar. Okay. The, is it 1001? Nope. 1092. So we're going to go back to, actually we do want the 1001. Yeah, I want the 1001. And now I'm going to come in and blend it all. And this is where I'm going to start to get that brick look. Okay, just blending it all together. Just go ahead and blend all that in. You could use a colorless blender here if that's what you choose to do. I've just never really used one a lot. I know a lot of people that do, and kudos. If you need that or can use that and it speeds your way along, then you go ahead and do that. I'm going to switch back over to this one. I think this is the 01. Nope, 1092. Alright. I'm going to come in here and just do a little more blending. Alright, so there is one brick. Now when we zoom out a little bit, it's going to look a lot different than that. Right now it looks like the front of a camera or something, and that's fine. Let's go with this 925. And this one, there's a little light mark here and a darker mark here. So I'm going to go with this one. Nope, mixed it up again. Let me lay that one to the side. The 92. And let's get that light mark in. And then for the dark mark, I'm actually going to pick up the 1095 and come in here with this. Now I know that's awfully dark. That's okay. Now I'm going to use just the 925 and do this whole brick. And this is where we get into the reds that really make this a red brick wall. So, and the reason this is so good, and see I'm going over the edge of that lighter color, so that it's not as in your face. I'll do the same thing over here with this darker color we did. But the reason this is so good for your files is when you're doing one of those pages that has a brick house, you can thumb through and look at all the different bricks that we've done and pick which one you like the best, and you've got all of your notes right there, and you can visually see what these bricks look like. Now let's go with 1095, and there are some light marks here. I'm going to go back over to the let's see, yeah, let's try this nectar, the 1092, and we're just going to put in some light here. And when you purchase this page, you're also going to get the full color page that I made this from, okay, the actual photo, so that when you start coloring along, you've got that right there as a point of reference. Now I know this looks awfully dark right now. That's okay. It's all going to be okay. So, and then I'm going to go back to this one and just keep coming in over this, and this is going to help lighten it. And make it, now I'm going back to the other one. We want to really make this look more like a brick. And I've gotten to where I don't do all little circles all the time, but I still do like my little circles a lot. So just whatever works for you, you just want to kind of get that blended. Alright, now as we move over, let's hit this next brick. And that middle section, 1001, let's get that done. In fact, let's move on down here and do this one. And let's do this. So what I would do if I were to purchase this and wanting to really learn from it, I would probably pause the video every now and then and go back and really write the numbers in with a marker on top of these colors so that you knew what you used where. And then when it comes down to actually doing the page, you've got all your reference notes there. Because if you're just watching these and not doing it and taking notes, you're not going to actually visually have that to look at later. It's going to be just a lot different. Okay, so now I'm going to go to the 1095 and do that dark part just lightly. Okay, just get that in there lightly. Just because the bricks here have so many different elements just packed into them that we have a lot of different colors in our bricks. But on this one, we're actually, like I said, doing the red. Okay, this is actually that nectar again, the 1092. And what I'm doing is just laying down a base color. Okay, laying down that base. Because these are actually going to be some of the red bricks again. But I want to show you how to layer to get that. So laying this down. And then we'll go back and do a couple of other bricks, and then from there you can finish the page on your own. Once we get a few done, I really feel like you'll have the ability to go through and just finish it up. See, I'm going lighter this time instead of darker, and I'm still leaving that stripe in there that was lighter. Texas brick is just, I don't know, it's different. I know in California there's a lot of stucco. In Missouri there are brick, but like my grandparents, their house was siding. Now I'm going to come back over again. That was 925 I just used. I'm going back to the nectar now, which is the 1092. But so anyway, I know in different parts of the country, houses are made out of different elements depending on what your weather is like. Okay? And for us, a brick house is going to cost a little more, probably sizably more, than a wood house. Just like your pier and beam and all that is a lot cheaper than a slab or concrete base. And there's upsides to both of those. Your concrete's not going to move as much, but if it does move, unlike a, that's a slab, I'm sorry, slab's not going to move as much, but unlike a pier and beam, you cannot crawl underneath and fix it either. There's just no crawl space. So, okay, so there's some. And then if I want those even a little redder, I can come back in with that Crimson Lake again, that 925, and just another light layer. Look at that, just a light layer. I'm not too worried about the grout or it's not grout. Come on, somebody help me. Anyway, the color between. All right, so now then, let's move over. And that's really still not as red as I want. So again, I can just come in and add a little over the top. I can even go over all the top of that if I want and knock that back just a little. Okay? Again, great reference pictures. I actually went out into my neighborhood and walked up to people's homes and did all the photos and stuff on my own. Yeah, not a creepy stalker at all. But anyway. All right, so let's go back down to this one, and it's going to be another one like this. So we're grabbing up that 1095, and what other color? Let's grab this nectar again. I think that's going to be a good for us. 1092, getting these light marks in, and it's just all this brick has texture from where they made it and compacted it, and so that's why it looks like that. And you may be like, well, how am I going to know to finish this which bricks get what colors? Again, when you do the download, I am going to include the color copies for you also. Okay, so I will find a way to make sure that you get all of that. Okay, so we've just done those. Now let's come in with this 1095, and let's start putting some of this in. And I'm just going to go over all of it lightly. And now I'll start going around those lighter spots. That's where the texture is. Then I can go over it again if I want, as long as I'm not covering it totally and it can pop through, then I'm good with that. It's what I'm wanting to do. Here's another one in this color. So yeah, I've missed not making videos. It's just been so much to take care of around here though. But yeah, never knew what a caretaker goes through until hubby had the fusion in the neck and just really couldn't even shower by himself. But he's doing that now too. I just have to take the brace off when he does his hair and then pop in the shower brace, put it on. But next week we go back and have another x-ray and see if he's healed enough that we can start weaning him out of that brace. And then a couple weeks after that, hopefully he'll be able to go back to work. So, alright. So there you see that. Alright, let's go ahead and hit this one up because it's going to match more this one. So we're going to start back with that 1001 and get it here and here. So just wherever you see the light marks, and we know it's going to be over here also. That's light and that's light. Okay. Then let's move, let's see, that was 001. Let's move to the 1092. Yeah, this just kind of lets you see how I work this out in my head as I go. I don't sit down and pre-label every little brick on what color it's going to be. I just kind of go with it. I'm going to go ahead and do this one too. Yeah, I'm not a big labeler. I like to just kind of fly by the seat of my pants on this. So it might look better if I labeled a little bit. Then let's go in with 925. That's our Crimson Lake. And I'm just very lightly, in fact, let's go over all that and see what happens. Okay, and over here, I'm going to do just parts of it, because this one is more of a two-tone. And then I can go back to the nectar and do some blending. See how I can blend that out? So, but brick's very textured all the way across here. Give it a different look. And go back and put a little more up in there. I'm going to put some of this back up in here so it's not so, I don't know, it's not so yellowy looking. There, and then blend. I like that a little more. Okay, and you would proceed to do that whole page that way. All right, have I done enough that you kind of get the idea there? Because I want to hit the grout just a little. Not the grout, the mortar. Anyway, and you can see that there's dark lines across here. That's the shadow line. So those lines would be this dark. This is the darkest of my 3 grays. Just putting that shadow in. Now the shadow up here is less because the angle at which I went to take my photo, see the angle down here, whoops, I got into it, sorry, is a little more. Alright, so you decide how much you want in those colors. See here, it's a little more. Okay, I am going to zoom out just a little. I think. I'm sorry. I'm bumping the camera. There. Alright. Now I'm going to come in with my next darkest, which is my 50%, and I'm going to go right above what we just did. Okay? Just making a line across right above that darker gray that we just did on all these. Alright, now the up and downs, there's not much shadow on those at all, so I'm not going to do anything except now I've got my 1060, which is my 20%, and I'm going to do all my uprights because they really have some reflective light in there. So I'm doing all of these this time. And you can go in and erase where you go over with some of your color if you don't want that color drug through there before you do your grays. Now I'm coming across the very top of that row, just right under those bricks, and getting the last of my brick wall finished up here. Okay. So there now you can see bricks. Alright, now I want you to see what this entire page is going to look like, and here's all the colors we've used. So if you decide to purchase, this is wall number 1. Okay, this is the first brick wall. Now stay tuned. This is video number 1. And I think I'm going to title it Red Brick because we still have white brick. You know what I think I might do? Because Etsy will only let me upload 5 pictures at a time. I'm thinking what I'm going to do is go back in every time somebody buys one, and I think what I'll do is just send you on the side the full color copies. So if you're purchasing this, then you be sure and leave me a comment on Etsy, and I will send you the color copies and not charge you for those, because they'll only let me upload 5 pages to send, but I want to send you 10. I want to send you all 5 brick colors in the grayscale and then send it to you again in the full color. Alright? So be sure and leave me a comment or a message when you purchase these and let me know where to send those color copies to. And I will just send them to you through any regular email account. Alright? Okay. And again, look down in the comments. I believe my store is Pam and then the number 1 stroke, and it's in Etsy, but it's yeah, I think my store is Pam 1 stroke, And you can also do a name search, Pam Proctor, Proctor. So go on over, take a look at them, and I will see you in the next video.